Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I'm George. We're all George. So, Bitcoin bounces back. Yes, a little bit. We actually broke above 40,000. A little bit below that, but did we finally find that bottom? So let's talk about it, and let's talk about these other cryptos that are ready to bounce as well. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. Take a look. Bitcoin hit a low of 38.5 earlier today, and we have bounced back up to like 40,300, and now we're a little bit below 39,700. So did the selling finally stop? Are the bulls back in charge? Well, let's talk about it. Let's look. First of all, you know, that 38 something, it's the lowest level in 7 weeks. It sounds pretty bad. Lowest level in 7 weeks. Well, is it really that bad after living through 2022 and 2023, a couple years? Yeah, a retracement is 7 weeks back. Not so bad. And in fact, we're, of course, bouncing upwards right now. But here's the thing. People have noticed that there are a lot of liquidations. This one is showing futures liquidations. Okay. Yeah, of course. In crypto, all the liquidations are futures, but you know, there are options and other kind of derivatives, but still, we know that there are a lot of liquidations. It seems like every major move is liquidating a whole bunch of people. The degens out there, right? So it makes you wonder who's actually causing these liquidations. Who benefits the most? Could it be the exchanges themselves? Or maybe the whales. The whales want to load up. They want you to sell so that they can load up. You know, who knows? Or a combination of both or other things, right? But here's the important thing, and I've been showing you guys this. In terms of loading up, these big boys, these fund managers, they continue to load up. Even though we have Grayscale. Today they sold, the numbers are skewed, but the numbers overall today was in the 500,000 range, okay? They sold, what is it? No, they sold, how many did they sell? No, that's approximately, I forgot how much they sold individually, but they still hold 536,000 Bitcoin. So I think they sold about 500 million today or something like that. But overall, the important thing is look at everyone else. They keep on increasing. And there's a big jump today with BlackRock's. BlackRock's ETF jumped up to 1.6 billion. Fidelity went from 1.2 to almost 1.4. So they're loading up crazily right now. All the Bitcoin being sold from Grayscale is being eaten up by BlackRock and Fidelity pretty much. And you got the others like Bitwise and ARK and Vesco. They're all going up by leaps and bounds. Overall, if you look at the number of Bitcoins that all these ETF funds hold, you're looking at 645,000. That's more than half a billion, right? No, that's more. That's way more. You're looking at more than 500,000, I should say, Bitcoin. And that's within just a short amount of time. And keep in mind, that's with Grayscale trying to dump. Grayscale is dumping, FTX is dumping, all the insiders are dumping, right? With all the dumping, the number overall, in terms of all the Bitcoin that these fund managers hold, is going up. They are just eating it up. And this is despite the market weakness right now. Imagine if Bitcoin was soaring at 55,000 or 60,000 or 80,000, how many Bitcoins would be going into these funds, right? But that's exactly what's happening right now. You have enormous amount of buying by these big institutions, right? And that's troubling because retail, a lot of retail is scared and selling, and they're selling directly to these big boys. And that's not what you want. No, that's the wrong way to do it. So if you look at the supply shock, the overall supply of Bitcoin, this is what makes Bitcoin goes up. Supply and demand, right? Right now, even again, with Grayscale selling, there are still net positive about 112,000 Bitcoin. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot, right? And you could see that offsets how much Grayscale sold. It also offsets how much is mined right now. So if you take how much is mined per month and how much is sold by Grayscale, right? Those two numbers are still lower than how much was added to the ETFs. So obviously a net negative. And then after the halving event, in about 3 months, that 27,000 per month is going to get cut to 13.5 thousand, right? And then the Bitcoin bought by ETFs will probably continue upwards. Again, supply shock. You have demand that's going up and supply that's going down. That's what's happening, right? So it's looking good. It's looking good despite the fact we have some volatility. We have some weakness right now, a little bit market manipulation. Maybe BlackRock's behind it. Maybe someone else behind it, like the miners and Grayscale. They may be contributing to it, but nevertheless, Bitcoin is scarce and will only get more scarce. So speaking of miners, I did look at this. This is an updated chart from what I showed this morning. Okay. And sure, yes, it shows that, yeah, there was another 40,000 Bitcoin dumped for the miners. So they are definitely selling off. Okay. And I mentioned this morning. Why are the miners selling off? Because they want to buy more infrastructure. They want to add more equipment, right? So obviously with everything that's going on with the Grayscale dumping, with the miners dumping, and maybe some market manipulation, everything added together, that's why we saw the weakness. But you know what? Despite all of this, Bitcoin is still holding strong and is going to have a fantastic 2024. Yes, fantastic 2024. That's for sure. What else? If you're looking at how Bitcoin is doing versus the internet adoption curve, we're right on track. We're right on track. We're in the middle. Okay. So according to this, yeah, this is where Bitcoin should be. Of course, there are times when we break out and Bitcoin is moving faster than adoption of internet. And sometimes we break below, which means, of course, it has slowed down in terms of adoption. But overall, Bitcoin is moving right along. And keep in mind, internet didn't explode right away, right? It took years upon years, and Bitcoin, same thing. We're seeing an evolution of Bitcoin right now. Besides being a store of value, besides being an exchange, we're also seeing a lot of development happening, almost kind of like the internet, right? A little bit. So yeah. So if you're looking at that, we're just according to schedule. And if you're looking at the network, right? I showed this before, but this was posted by ARK in terms of how powerful and secure and big the network is. Basically, it's 500 times more powerful than the most powerful supercomputer in the world, if you think about it, right? And it keeps on getting stronger. Despite the miners selling off some Bitcoin because they need that cash to grow their operations, they continue to mine away. That's why the Bitcoin network keeps on getting bigger and stronger and more secure and more unhackable, right? So that's what's going on with Bitcoin. Glad to see it bounce up a little bit today, and glad to see some of the alts follow. Some of these alts took a beating the last week or so. Started to come up a little bit. Even the memes are coming up a little bit. So that's good, making people feel a little bit more hopeful, even though we know better days are coming. This is just temporary. But let me cover a couple of them that may be of interest to you guys that could be on its way up and probably do well this year. I already covered some of these before, but I'll cover that again. The first one is SUI. SUI out of Palo Alto. They are US based, right? They formed a pretty big alliance or partnership with Alibaba. Interesting. Okay, so what are they going to be working on? Well, many things. They said various services, including AI-powered development environment, educational programs at university, community events, translation of Move documents into Mandarin and Korean. An AI tool is being developed to write Move code based on natural language queries from developers, leveraging Alibaba cloud infrastructure and technical support. So, that's pretty cool. So it seems like they just want to grow education and development, and they're just going to work together to make that happen. So that's pretty big for SUI. But they also, they're planning on their own conference as well. They're calling it SUI Base Camp, right? The very first ever global conference for SUI. This will come in April, and they're going to host it in Paris. So they're serious. All the other major chains out there, they all have their own conference, where they just go all out and shield their own, dApps and so forth, right? So SUI's going to be doing the same. So nothing wrong with that. But in terms of fundamentals, SUI, if you discount non-EVM chains, they're the second biggest with TVL, total value locked. That's pretty amazing. Right under Solana, 329 million. But if you include the EVM chains, they're still at number 12, which is quite amazing if you think about it, because SUI only launched 8 months ago. A variety of other chains that they're competing with have launched for years, and they haven't even come anywhere close to this. 344 million TVL. That is pretty impressive. That is very, very impressive if you ask me, for an 8-year-old or 8-month-old 8-month-old chain. And also in terms of speed, SUI is very, very fast. In fact, their finality time, for settling transactions is, according to this, the fastest on the list. I don't know if there is one faster, even faster than Solana, Injective, Avalanche, all the major ones that you guys know about, right? So, SUI's looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good. And they have been moving upwards within the last few months. So, I think they will continue to do well. Now, another one that is actually doing quite well today already, and they have bounced back, is, well, no, that's SUI again, is Aptos. Aptos, created by ex-Facebook guys that worked on their own blockchain project. When that failed, a lot of guys left. They started Aptos. It was very hyped up, very well backed by VCs. They're a modular chain, which means they could upgrade certain components of their blockchain without taking the whole thing down. And they are also very secure and efficient and fast and scalable and all those good stuff, right? But you know what? They have a partnership with Microsoft. Microsoft is exploring Aptos to explore digital payments and tokenization. What better partner to do that with than Microsoft? That's pretty big. They have DEXs, of course. You have a major one like Sushi that have moved to Aptos, which is always good. But you know what? Today, I think they're going up because they have their own conference, Aptos Summit. I told you guys, every single major chain seems to have their own blockchain conference. So today is day one of their Aptos Summit. 35 projects and partners from around the world came to Silicon Valley to talk Aptos, right? So they're actually up decently today because of this. So good for them. I may be attending some of these conferences in the future. So there you go. Today, Aptos and SUI both look good, pretty good. But you guys know, I love L1s. I love L2s. There's so many good ones out there. So when there is market weakness, HODL and DCA. DCA into Bitcoin, DCA into your favorite bags, your favorite alts, your favorite L1s, L2s. That's the right way to do it. All right, let's do some Q&A. A lot of memes did well today. Avalanche memes did very well today too. Of course, not back to their previous high, but at least they got a good bounce. All right. Let's see here. Let's see if I missed anything. Scrolling up. EMO Gaming. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Meme coins should be 100% of all your portfolios. Yeah, I don't recommend that. No, I don't recommend that at all. Jose says the same as past cycles, zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. That's how, yes, that's the best way to look at it. We have seen drops, we have seen dips, we have seen many. You know what? In fact, I think I bookmarked one. Let me see if I could pull up here. Yes. I've shown this before. Now, this is a little outdated because it doesn't show the recent movement, but this gives you a good idea that, yeah, dips happen. They happen often. They happen more often in bull runs. Okay. So this one is pretty relevant because this one originally showed Bitcoin only going up to 36.5, and we're a little bit above that now, so we're not too far off. But it does show that, hey, we just had another 20% crash, right? It happens every single cycle, so don't let it fear you out of the market, because at any of those points you see back in 2021 or 2017, had you been feared out due to one of those nasty drops, then you would have lost out some juicy gains. All right. Let's see here. Not going to look at Ponk's chart. V8. A friend got me into Shido a few weeks ago. Fundamentals seem great. Barely suffered this week's dumps. People have asked me about it. I just haven't really looked at it yet. Not yet. I will, but I haven't looked into it yet. What's the story with UMA gains? Any info would appreciate. Well, you know what? I covered that recently because they launched their MEV Oracle. So today they're not up. Last week, yeah, they're up. So it's supposed to be a new type of Oracle that's supposed to help DEXs better when it comes to like MEV bots and losses and stuff like that. I don't quite understand what it does to help with that, but UMA launched it. It seems like a lot of people are excited about it. I believe Shido's out of Cosmos too. People have asked me about it. Still relatively small. Are they out of Cosmos, or they're maybe not? Maybe not. George, you once said it's irresponsible not to hold some Doge. Do you still stand by that statement? No, I don't. Doge is pretty much dead in my eyes. There's much better. Doge, once upon a time, was fun to hold because back then memes didn't really exist outside of Doge and Sheep, and if you want to have some fun, those were your two only options. These days, if you want to have some fun, you want to gamble, you want to be a little risky, there are so many memes out there, and a lot of them actually doing quite well. So, yeah, no, I've given up on Doge. I'm sure that it'll still do well in the bull market, but there's so many other options out there. 4K down this week, Lewis. You'll get it back. I don't know if this helps, but I'm multiple like more down than you are in terms of unrealized gains, right? But it sucks. But you don't take a loss until you actually sell. Keep that in mind. Will Pepe come back? I think so. Yeah, I mean, eventually. Again, in the bull market, everything moves. Pepe will, but it really shot itself in the foot. So it just lost all momentum. I think Bonk is going to do better than Pepe this cycle. I think a lot of memes within Solana and some of these other chains will do better. Jamie, 110K down this month. That sucks. Imagine being down 110K in a single day. That sucks more. Rich, I'm not a Sol Maxi, but my portfolio says otherwise. I hope it works out. Thanks for all you do. You know what? I honestly think that you're not going to be disappointed by holding so much Sol. Of course, there are many other great projects out there. You don't have to hold so much Sol, but I think it's not a bad move. I have a large bag of Sol too. I think it'll do very well this year. Myro will surpass Bonk. I wouldn't mind. I know Myro came back decently today. They dropped to like 16 cents this morning or something. Yeah, they were 15, 16 cents this morning, and they climbed back up to 20 cents. They're not too far off from their previous high. Previous high of what, 20, 25 cents? So Myro is coming back strong. Still around 200 million. Today, actually, a lot of memes came back. Like, Snack up about 8%. And then Cock up 13%. Of course, they're not back to their previous high, but at least today, you see some gain strength. Even Kulo bounced back pretty good. Samson, okay, appreciate it. How many X's do you think Bonk could do before end of the bull run? David asks. I mean, if Sheeb did 40 billion last market, I mean that's still like, whew, that's a lot. If Bonk was at 1 billion, that's 40x. Seeing where it is now, it's going to do a lot more than that. So you could say it could be like a 40x. It's not guaranteed though, of course, because last cycle was different than this cycle. But hey, Sheeb within a month and a half went from like 2 billion in market cap to 40 billion in a month and a half. Can something like that happen again? Sure, it could happen. I'm down 40K, 47K from top 2 weeks ago, but all we got to do is hold our cocks, march forward. Mark, could you elaborate on your relationship with DFK? Are you advising them regularly? How so? Do you advise in the game aspect or project marketing? Mark, this sounds like a personal question. If you really need to know, then email me or ask Streamer. But I'm a advisor, not just a marketing partner. Okay, so there is a big difference that most people don't seem to understand. Doge at 80 billion, Bonka surprised a lot of people. Yeah, but Doge is Doge, and it's because of the Elon effect. The only reason why Doge went so high is because Elon started chilling them like crazy. If it wasn't for Elon, I don't know if Doge would have done that well. Now, obviously, Elon could do a lot of stuff this cycle. If he starts, you know, tweeting a whole lot about Bonk or Myro or whatever, I mean, they could blow up to that high too. Was there no Sunday walk video this week? No. I was tired. There was nothing to talk about. The weather is getting better where I am, so I could probably start walking outside again as long as it's not like pouring rain or snowing. But it's not negative like 15 degrees out anymore, so I could start walking again. So this week I'll see if I can make it out. I switched XRP for Chainlink. Of course, right as I did that, banks adopted XRP for international use. I mean, obviously that didn't do anything because they're up by 0.1%. There's always news about XRP being adopted, and it never goes anywhere. So, I mean, I don't think you'll regret that decision. I think Chainlink's will do very well this year too. George, do you have goals for selling during this bull, or do you just try to time to top? I never tried time to top because usually I get it wrong. I normally get it wrong if I try time to top. This cycle, I'm going to do what I said, which is take profits according to percentage of my portfolio. Keeping 20, 25, 30% of my portfolio in cash. When I feel like it's too greedy, take it out, replenish that cash pile. That's what I'm going to do. Obviously, if I also, my gut tells me that the market is too hot, like Bitcoin is already at 250,000 and it seems like it just wants to keep on going, that's when you want to take more off the table. Whatever your gut tells you, like you're just making too much money, like too quickly. Like every day you wake up, your portfolio's up by like 20%. You're like, you gotta, even though as good as that sounds, you gotta step back and think, is the market too hot right now? Is it about to burst? You know, the bubble. We'll see that in 2025. We'll see that again. Jay, appreciate it. XRP is a new stable coin. It's always been. You could argue it's always been like that. Andreas, I'm not gonna check Solamas. Okay, I see you shilling it a lot. I'm not gonna talk about Solamas. If you guys want to look at like crazy memes, right? You go to Deck Screener and you can see all of them everywhere, right? You're taking a risk, of course. So just be careful in terms of what you're getting involved with. But they could go up, they could go down with memes. Really not much fundamentals to look at. I think it's just trust. Do you trust that the team is going to continue to build and grow and not do a pump and dump, right? That's really what it comes down to with memes. Jay, thank you. I think I missed that. Who is the most crypto-friendly candidate? I have no idea. No idea. No idea. I do feel like though, I don't know. I feel like more and more candidates are more pro crypto. You don't really hear a lot of candidates that are very bearish on crypto. I just don't get that. I mean, I think people are just, They're just getting used to it, that this is going to be around. It's not going to go away. It's not a fad anymore. That they just have to embrace it. They might not like it, but they have to realize they have to embrace it, you know? Randy says, I mentioned stars to you as stargazer. There's no stargazer. You mean stargaze? There's a lot of project with stars as a symbol. It's in Cosmos. I don't know if this is the one you're referring to. Trade NFT with zero gas. Is this the one? Okay, so it's a new NFT marketplace within Cosmos. Okay. If that's your thing, sure. It looks pretty. I don't know how many people are minting on Cosmos though. Seems like the collections are very minimal. When is GeorgeCon, Devin asks? Well, it's called WAG. We are all George. WAG 2024. I think it's going to be in Nashville this year, right before Bitcoin 2024 conference. So it'll be in July, end of July. Still trying to plan that out. I don't know if I'm going to have it officially for sure. I would like to this year because I think this is the right year to do it, but, you know, we'll see. Retro Bill, compulsively rounding my crypto to nearest 100. Wait, I don't get that. I don't get it. Zilliqa, yeah, not a fan of Zilliqa. Yes, this year is Year of the Dragon. So, it'll be an interesting year. Interesting year for sure. Don't fade Taylor Swift's freaking cat. What do you call Taylor Swift's fans? Swifties? What's her cat name? I forgot. Someone mentioned the other day. If Taylor Swift was shilling her own cat meme, then I'm sure it's go pump up to the moon immediately, within seconds. But I'm pretty sure she's not going to. Radium is the biggest DEX, or one of the biggest DEX. I still think Radium is the biggest DEX within Solana. So I think anything that's within the Solana ecosystem have potential. Radium, of course, everyone's flocking to it. When you're buying those Solana-based memes, where do you go? Radium, right? So I think they're going to do well. Relatively small at 278 million still. Do I watch Game of Thrones? Game of Thrones is over, man. Yes, I did watch it before. It ended horribly. It ended really horribly. I hated how it ended. And the prequel, House of the Dragon, is just not the same. It doesn't have the same vibe, and it also ended horribly. And I hated the time jumps. So yeah. Jay, appreciate that. All right, guys. Let's conclude. We got a little bounce today. Bitcoin may have found that bottom at 38.5. We're a little bit above it. Grayscale, unfortunately, was still selling today, but it's being eaten up by the other big boys. Everything that they're selling is being eaten up by BlackRock and Fidelity. Citizen Crypto, appreciate that. So don't let them eat up your Bitcoin too. So I talked about Sui today, Aptos. You got a lot of good alts that are down. Great time to be loading up and DCAing. So that's really it. I will see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, so make sure you get a good night's rest, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Jeff, thank you. Retro Bill. Okay.